A developing financial investigation inside the British royal household has placed Queen Camilla under serious internal scrutiny after evidence surfaced of alleged misuse of over £12.3 million from the Royal Maintenance Fund. The funds were reportedly used to finance the private construction of a mansion for her son, Tom Parker Bowles, under the false designation of a state-backed royal infrastructure project in Nuneham, a London suburb. The investigation was formally initiated by Prince Edward, following a confidential briefing from Prince William, who initially flagged unusual financial activity during a routine review of maintenance reports. Sources close to the matter have confirmed that the inquiry is being conducted in complete secrecy, under the internal code name Project Black Crown. However, the first signs of irregularity arose from multiple complaints filed by Nuneham residents regarding late-night construction and noise pollution. Excavators, trucks, and heavy equipment were reported operating without formal disclosure or regulatory signage. When questioned, local authorities cited the operation as a special project linked to the royal household, offering £500 compensation checks to each affected household. No formal notice of planning, environmental impact, or royal statement had been released. A royal financial advisor later confirmed that no such project was listed in the Royal Maintenance Fund's 2025/26 expenditure schedule, raising immediate concern within Kensington Palace. Prince William, currently overseeing transparency reforms within royal budgeting systems, was notified of the irregularities by senior aide Lord James Everley. William reviewed recent transactions and identified a pattern of small but frequent transfers made to a company named Denning & Sons Construction Limited, based in Greater London. A total of 47 transactions had been logged between February and April 2025, all under the £50,000 auditing threshold. When aggregated, they amounted to over £2.1 million. None of the transfers were earmarked with an official project code. This prompted William to escalate the matter discreetly to Prince Edward, requesting an independent financial tracing operation. Prince Edward, long known for handling internal logistical and ceremonial roles, was granted special authority to launch a preliminary review. He convened a 3-member team consisting of Eliza Thorne, Royal Treasury Forensic Analyst, Lord James Everley, Internal Auditor, a data security liaison from the Royal Archive, unnamed. Their task was to cross-check Royal Maintenance Fund disbursements with real-world construction activity and identify any inconsistencies between declared and undeclared projects. After 96 hours of forensic review, Thorne identified a financial flow involving 5 shell companies based in London and Surrey. Each received fragmented amounts from the Royal Maintenance Fund, which were eventually traced to a Jersey-based account registered under the name Parker Heritage Trust. The Jersey bank account was newly opened. The listed controller was Tom Parker Bowles, Queen Camilla's eldest son from her first marriage. The funds totaled £12.3 million, consistent with the projected value of a luxury property under construction in Nuneham. A verified architectural plan, provided by a former contractor, listed features such as a 3-floor private residence, underground wine cellar, private theater, and bullet-resistant glass. The working project title, TPB Residence. A turning point in the inquiry came when a digital payment authorization surfaced, tied to Queen Camilla, authorizing the last of the transfers via a verbal directive, without paper authorization or council approval. The document bore Camilla's personal seal, a gold lion crest, but lacked oversight from the Royal Finance Council or Buckingham's Budget Committee. Furthermore, signature scans from King Charles III and Prince William, found on a separate 47-page internal dossier titled Royal Asset Restoration Phase 3, were confirmed via forensic analysis to have been copied from earlier documents, digitally inserted without consent. At the time the dossier was allegedly signed, King Charles was under sedation in hospital following a minor cardiac procedure. Prince William was reportedly present at his bedside the entire day. As of this report, Queen Camilla has not made any public comment regarding the allegations. However, multiple staff members in the Royal Accounting Office have reportedly been reassigned to Scotland, Dublin, and Windsor, within a 72-hour window following the first financial flag raised by Lord James. An internal memo circulated within Clarence House instructed press officers to refrain from engaging with inquiries related to Nuneham or the Parker Heritage Trust. In contrast, Prince Edward has continued to quietly assemble documents and prepare for a closed-door review session with King Charles, members of the Royal Finance Council, and external legal advisors. The royal household is now facing a delicate situation. If verified, the unauthorized diversion of funds may require a full internal audit, repayment of misused public monies, and possible removal of Queen Camilla from all financial oversight functions within the royal institution. According to a former royal trust advisor, this is not a personal family matter. The Royal Maintenance Fund is partially sourced from sovereign grant allocations and must meet legal and public scrutiny standards. Any breach, no matter the motive, is treated as a constitutional risk. More details are expected to emerge as Prince Edward prepares to present the findings to King Charles and the Internal Royal Council in the coming days. The royal investigation led by Prince Edward into the alleged misuse of £12.3 million from the Royal Maintenance Fund has entered a new phase, as key offshore banking data, forged documents, and insider testimony begin to form the core of a potential financial misconduct case against Queen Camilla and her son Tom Parker Bowles. With the initial discovery of fragmented transfers and the Jersey-based Parker Heritage Trust account, the Royal Task Force has now confirmed at least 5 shell entities were used to systematically launder maintenance funds under the appearance of legitimate infrastructure expenditures. Over a 90-day period, 5 UK-based companies, Southwell Consult Limited, Greenfield Masonry, A&G Design Partners, Denning & Sons, and Hurstwood Logistics received recurring payments of £30,000 to £49,800, each falling just below standard audit thresholds. Combined, these transfers totaled over £8.5 million. Forensic tracing revealed that these companies share the same registered accountant, Mark Halworth Associates, similar invoicing templates, shared directors or directors listed at unrelated residential addresses. Eliza Thorne, lead forensic analyst on the royal team, then uncovered that 3 of the 5 companies funneled money into an offshore trust headquartered in Street Hellier, Jersey. The trust, Parker Heritage, was incorporated under a fast-tracked executive process, typically reserved for high-value clients. The listed controller of the trust was confirmed to be Tom Parker Bowles, with Arthur Denning, his longtime assistant, authorized as financial administrator. A final transfer of £3.8 million was received by the Jersey account on the 16th of June 2025, just 3 days before internal questioning about unregistered project expenditures began circulating within the Royal Finance Office. The investigation took a significant turn when Mr. Harris, a 4-year-old senior accountant previously stationed at St. James's Palace, agreed to speak under conditions of anonymity and legal protection. Mr. Harris, who was reassigned to the Royal Scottish Archives in early July without explanation, approached Prince Edward's task force after learning about the Jersey link in media whispers. In a formal statement recorded by Edward's team, Harris confirmed he received verbal instructions from Clarence House on March 11 to authorize a £1.2 million release labeled Emergency Structural Retailer. He was told the order came directly from Queen Camilla, with assurance that King Charles had pre-approved the transaction. When he attempted to request written confirmation, his access to the internal ledger system was suspended for 48 hours. Before departing London, Harris saved all transaction copies to a USB device and submitted them to the task force. The USB contains 47 encrypted documents, including original invoices and signed approval sheets, date-modified PDF documents with altered project codes, a metadata trail linking invoice creation to Arthur Denning's device. According to internal security analysis, multiple entries list payment reasons that do not correspond to the fund's approved categories, such as granite stair replacement and heritage glass import, yet shipping records show minimal actual delivery. Further analysis of the USB content uncovered a folder labeled TPB Private. Within it, the team found email exchanges between Tom Parker Bowles and Arthur Denning, referencing budget allocations, invoice padding, and timeline pressures. One email, dated the 22nd of April 2025, from Denning to Tom reads, "Mother says to route the next pound 500 kelvins via A&G, then finalize the Jersey path. She's spoken to the fund clerk already. Should be clean." Another folder contained a recorded voice memo, with audio analysis confirming the speaker to be Tom Parker Bowles. In the memo, Tom says, "Mother says if William or anyone looks too close, we pull the Windsor papers and push the old approval stamp. Use the same one from the Marlborough repairs, same ink." This appears to refer to the 2023 Windsor renovation project, which was used as a template to forge documents linked to the Nunham site. Meanwhile, Task Force member Lord James Everley met with a former lead contractor from the Nunham construction site in an off-the-record interview. The individual, identified only as Blake, confirmed that the construction site was not labeled as a public or state-funded project in their internal systems. Blake stated, "The blueprint was marked TPB Residential. Construction plans included non-standard royal features, bulletproof windows, private elevator shaft, and indoor spa complex. Project managers were told to reduce real costs by 40% and inflate billing reports. Blake also provided a second USB drive containing duplicate invoices marked as heritage restoration, internal chats referencing mother's priority schedule, payment split tables, showing discrepancy between listed cost and paid labor. The final floor plan matched the same design that had been circulated by local residents and leaked to the Nunham Citizen Bulletin. Upon confirmation of the misuse, Prince William, with internal royal legal approval, ordered the immediate demolition of the Nunham property using the same private contractors who previously restored parts of Windsor Castle. A 3-hour overnight operation was conducted under full security, and the location is now marked for redevelopment as a public park under the name Nunham Community Support Initiative. However, aerial imaging from June and early July continues to circulate in private political circles, showing the mansion nearly complete at the time of demolition. Sources close to the Royal Legal Committee have acknowledged that verbal orders, even when issued by senior members of the royal family, do not meet legal standards for fund disbursement. As Queen Camilla currently holds no direct administrative oversight of the maintenance fund, any action initiated in her name without documented approval by either the king or the council is subject to internal investigation and potentially a formal rebuke. A source within the Lord Chancellor's office said, "There is precedent for financial corrections. There is no precedent for asset concealment via fabricated documentation within the sovereign finance structure." A private emergency session was held this week inside the Green Room at Buckingham Palace, where Queen Camilla was formally presented with evidence linking her to the unauthorized use of £12.3 million in royal funds. The session was led by Prince Edward, with King Charles III, Prince William, and 3 neutral members of the Royal Finance Council in attendance. The meeting was not listed on the public schedule. Entry to the room was restricted, with access controlled by the Royal Protection Unit. Prince Edward opened the session by submitting 3 encrypted USB drives to the Council. Each contained the following: full transaction logs from the Royal Maintenance Fund, scanned copies of forged authorization documents, bearing signatures allegedly from King Charles and Prince William, audio recordings of Tom Parker Bowles discussing the private build and referencing Queen Camilla's involvement, invoices and emails recovered from contractors and shell companies. The materials showed that the funds were directed to the Parker Heritage Trust, with final destination being the now demolished private residence in Nunham. One document, dated June 14, authorized a £500,000 emergency disbursement under Queen Camilla's verbal order, citing national security restoration. No written follow-up was ever submitted. When confronted with the evidence, Queen Camilla reportedly denied knowledge of the misappropriation. According to a council source present in the room, Her Majesty claimed Tom acted independently, and that any mentions of her verbal orders were either misinterpreted or exaggerated. However, Prince Edward played a key recording in which Camilla's voice was identified, instructing, "Transfer everything to Jersey before dawn. Use Charles's seal if necessary. It must not trace back." How? The council then reviewed the 47-page dossier titled Royal Asset Restoration Phase 3, containing forged signatures and misdated approval entries. Forensic analysis had previously concluded the signatures were digitally inserted, and the approval date overlapped with King Charles's hospitalization. Following the presentation, King Charles spoke briefly. He did not offer a formal rebuke, but issued a direct instruction. Queen Camilla is to be removed from all roles involving royal funds, infrastructure, or administrative sign-off. A repayment plan will be drafted to recover the misused £12.3 million. All internal documentation related to the Parker Heritage Trust will be sealed and reclassified as archived restricted. The Royal Press Office has issued no comment. Though no charges have been filed and no public statement has been made, multiple sources confirm that Queen Camilla's role within the working royal structure has been substantially reduced. She will no longer participate in oversight meetings or be listed on official internal finance correspondence. As of this writing, Tom Parker Bowles has reportedly left the UK, with sightings of his departure logged at a private terminal of London Stansted Airport, believed en route to Geneva, Switzerland. Following the internal confrontation with Queen Camilla over the alleged unauthorized use of royal funds, the royal household has begun a multi-phase recovery and containment effort to address the financial and reputational damage. No formal public disclosure has been made, but behind palace doors, a coordinated damage control operation is underway, involving the Royal Finance Council, the Crown Estate Legal Division, and senior aides from both Buckingham and Kensington. At the core of the effort is a directive from King Charles III, issued immediately after the closed-door session in Buckingham's Green Room, ordering the repayment of the full £12, £3 million to the Royal Maintenance Fund, and the elimination of all financial and structural traces of the now dismantled property in Nunham. Shortly after the internal meeting, a discreet demolition operation was initiated at the former TPB residence site in Nunham. The building, confirmed through internal documentation as a luxury residential property commissioned under the false title of a Royal Restoration Initiative, was razed in a 3-hour overnight operation. The crew was composed of the same specialists who led the 2023 Windsor Castle restoration, flown in under non-disclosure agreements and compensated through a redirected urgent conservation budget line. By sunrise, only a leveled foundation remained. A new sign was erected by local authorities: Future Site, Nunham Royal Park, Public Project, 2026, marking the first stage of the cover operation. The initiative is being rebranded as a charitable reinvestment for local community benefit. No media access has been granted to the site. The Royal Treasury Office, under the oversight of the Crown Estate Legal Division, has launched a recovery strategy to reclaim the funds misappropriated from the Maintenance Fund. The plan includes immediate freezing of the Parker Heritage Trust account in Jersey, initiated by legal counsel acting on behalf of the sovereign, liquidation of non-dispersed assets tied to the Nunham project and affiliated shell companies, reclassification of expenses under non-compliant capital outflows, with a full forensic audit submitted to the Royal Finance Council. According to internal sources, the following recovery metrics are in progress: £3.8 million, recovered directly from Jersey; £4.1 million, halted in intermediary shell accounts across the UK. The remaining £4.4 million pending legal retrieval, including withheld commissions and payments to contractors. By reclassifying the scandal's financial footprint as a restoration discrepancy, the palace aims to formally close the books, without triggering external scrutiny or breach of trust implications under sovereign grant rules. To prevent future misuse and secure operational confidentiality, a personnel reshuffle was initiated across the Royal Maintenance Fund administrative chain. The following internal movements have been confirmed: 5 senior accountants reassigned to outposts in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Canada. Clarence House administrative access revoked for individuals associated with Arthur Denning or Tom Parker Bowles. Forensic review of internal communications dating from January 2025 to July 2025. Introduction of dual authentication protocols for any fund disbursement above £20,000. Additionally, Arthur Denning, named in financial logs and recordings as the operational executor of the Mansion project, has been placed on indefinite administrative leave. His last recorded access to the Royal Fund database was revoked 24 hours after the Buckingham hearing. The Royal Press Office has issued no public comment, nor acknowledged the incident in any capacity. Sources say the palace's communications strategy is to avoid inflaming speculation and prevent the story from reaching mainstream press coverage. Internal guidelines distributed to media liaisons and government departments include immediate redirection of any Nunham-related inquiries to local council authorities, zero confirmation or denial of demolition activities, citing routine maintenance and urban development as the official narrative. Several smaller publications and social media users in Nunham have shared images of the site, but none have identified the royal connection due to the speed of the demolition and lack of prior visibility. As of this writing, Queen Camilla remains within Clarence House and has not attended any official events since the private hearing. Internally, she has been removed from all future royal finance briefings, and her name has been struck from the Royal Oversight Working Group list. It is understood that her remaining duties will be limited to non-administrative ceremonial functions, and all correspondence routed through her office will require secondary sign-off from a designated oversight officer appointed by the Crown. A royal advisor speaking on background noted, "The Queen Consort's position has not been formally altered in the eyes of the public, but her internal influence has been significantly curtailed." While the internal inquiry has uncovered credible evidence of mismanagement, forgery, and verbal orders circumventing royal protocols, the palace has opted not to pursue formal criminal charges. The justification, according to internal legal counsel, is based on 4 factors: reputational risk to the monarchy if the issue enters public court proceedings, partial recovery of funds within the first 14 days of discovery, lack of external complainants or whistleblower exposure to media, desire to maintain unity within the working structure of the royal family. Sources close to Prince Edward confirm that his role was limited to investigation and internal reporting, and that he has no further authority to initiate legal proceedings beyond palace jurisdiction. In response to the systemic weaknesses exposed by the scandal, Prince William has begun drafting a revised governance charter for royal fund management. Early details include clear limits on verbal orders from non-reigning members, quarterly independent audit review by a non-royal panel, mandatory digital signatures, and audit trail encryption for all expenditures. The revisions are expected to be tabled at the next internal finance meeting in Q1 2026 and may serve as a structural legacy of the incident, preventing future breaches of this scale. Following the internal investigation into the misappropriation of £12.3 million from the Royal Maintenance Fund, Queen Camilla has entered what palace officials describe as a period of complete administrative isolation. No public appearances have been scheduled since the closed-door session at Buckingham Palace, and all royal duties previously assigned to her have been either suspended or redistributed. The outcome, while not officially publicized, marks one of the most severe internal responses to financial misconduct by a senior royal figure in recent history. Since the day following the emergency hearing, all senior aides, press officers, and financial liaisons assigned to Queen Camilla have been formally reassigned. Clarence House, once a hub for the Queen Consort's engagements and correspondence, is now under restricted operations. Sources confirm all external communications from Camilla's office must be vetted by a neutral oversight committee. Her calendar of royal duties has been indefinitely suspended. She has been removed from all internal policy discussions relating to charitable funding, estate restoration, and heritage project approvals. As of this writing, Queen Camilla has not issued any statement written or recorded addressing the financial irregularities, her son's involvement, or the council hearing. In a parallel development, Tom Parker Bowles, whose name appears on financial documents, invoices, and offshore trust records, has left the United Kingdom. Flight records reviewed by internal staff show that he departed via Stansted Airport using a private charter, with the listed destination as Geneva, Switzerland. No formal explanation for his departure has been offered. However, internal sources state that his exit was encouraged after the Internal Legal Council advised the palace to create physical and legal separation between key individuals and the estate investigation. He is not expected to return to the UK in the immediate future. Royal Security Services, RSS, have reportedly implemented enhanced surveillance measures at Clarence House and surrounding offices to prevent unauthorized data transfers or further breaches. All access to the Royal Maintenance Fund internal ledger system has been permanently revoked for users tied to the Nunham transactions. Additionally, Camilla's digital access to internal budget reports has been disabled. Key email accounts used in past correspondence have been suspended pending archive review. The royal household has hired an external cybersecurity firm to conduct a forensic sweep of digital authorizations dating back 18 months. A Royal Finance Committee member, speaking under condition of anonymity, stated, "This was not just a matter of financial oversight. It exposed internal procedural vulnerabilities. The Queen Consort's influence within palace administration has been effectively neutralized." As instructed by King Charles III, Prince Edward submitted his final summary report to the Royal Finance Council within 14 days of initiating the investigation. The report outlines full financial trail from the Royal Maintenance Fund to the Parker Heritage Trust, supporting documents from former accountants, contractors, and third-party financial analysts, detailed logs of forgery, invoice manipulation, and verbal authorization misuse, timeline of reassignment orders and email access suspensions initiated by Clarence House staff. The report was classified as internal royal matter, high sensitivity, and stored within the royal archives under restricted access, with one sealed copy retained at Windsor under sovereign control. Edward, having fulfilled his investigative mandate, has returned to routine ceremonial duties. King Charles III, while present during the confrontation, has made no public or private statements referencing the event. According to senior aides, he spends most of his working hours at Windsor and Sandringham, limiting engagement with Clarence House. Insiders describe the king's response as deliberate distance, designed to stabilize the broader royal structure while avoiding visible division within the family. No official record of any private meeting between Charles and Camilla has been released since the council session. While the financial damage is being reversed and key individuals have been isolated or reassigned, the long-term impact on Queen Camilla's reputation within internal palace circles is significant. Several working royals are said to be reconsidering collaborative roles or public joint engagements, even as public optics remain tightly managed. The scandal, though fully documented internally, has been successfully kept out of the public domain, largely due to Prince Edward and Prince William's cooperation in containing exposure. In the weeks following the private exposure of a £12.3 million financial scandal involving Queen Camilla and her son Tom Parker Bowles, the British monarchy has entered a phase of internal recalibration. While the crisis was contained from public view, its impact on royal operations, financial governance, and intra-family trust has been considerable. Behind palace walls, the roles of Prince William and Prince Edward have gained renewed strategic importance, not through ceremony, but through their direct involvement in re-establishing procedural integrity. Despite the gravity of the case, no public inquiry was launched, and no member of the royal family made an official statement. The decision to handle the matter privately was made during the final moments of the Buckingham Palace closed-door session, in line with the long-standing royal tradition of internal discipline over public legal exposure. However, senior sources have confirmed that the scandal has accelerated long-delayed reforms within the royal household's financial governance framework. These include a new dual verification system for fund disbursements over £10,000, mandatory quarterly audits led by external forensic accounting teams, removal of all verbal-only approvals for any capital expenditures, a revised oversight committee that excludes non-working royals from access to financial decision-making. These measures, largely drafted under Prince William's direction and executed by Prince Edward's investigative findings, are expected to be ratified during the next Royal Finance Council review in Q1 2026. While Prince William initiated the inquiry after identifying suspicious financial movement in the Royal Maintenance Fund, it was Prince Edward who assumed operational leadership of the investigation. According to palace aides, the division of responsibilities was intentional. William, heir to the throne, maintained visibility over the case, but avoided direct confrontation with Queen Camilla to preserve institutional balance. Edward, who holds no succession pressure, was tasked with gathering evidence, conducting interviews, and delivering the final report to King Charles III. Sources within the royal archives described the collaboration as the most coordinated internal integrity review in decades, noting that both princes worked off secure, encrypted systems, met in unscheduled sessions, and enforced limited disclosure, even among senior staff. Although the monarchy has restored the missing funds and shut down the Parker Heritage Trust, a trust deficit now exists internally between Clarence House and other royal estates. Several departments have reportedly instituted informal measures to prevent overlap or dual authority involving Queen Camilla's former aides. Joint engagements with Clarence House are subject to increased administrative review. Camilla's ceremonial functions have been reduced to non-decision-making roles only. All correspondence involving estate renovation, historical site usage, or charitable construction projects must be cleared through a neutral clearance officer. There is no indication that Queen Camilla will be reinstated to any administrative role related to royal expenditures. The handling of the case has established what internal commentators are referring to as a modern royal accountability model, quiet but enforceable, and focused on internal correction without reputational fallout. A senior royal legal advisor, speaking anonymously, noted, "The monarchy exists in continuity, not chaos. The mistake was addressed. The system has evolved. The institution was protected." Though Queen Camilla remains officially Queen Consort, her influence within the administrative side of the crown has been permanently limited. Tom Parker Bowles, whose departure to Geneva remains unacknowledged by the palace, is not expected to be involved in any future royal representation or charitable trust affiliated with the royal family. As of November 2025, the Royal Maintenance Fund operates under a new ledger system. Digital watermarking and live transaction tracking are in effect, monitored in part by a neutral subcommittee, including members from the Treasury Liaison Office and 2 senior legal advisors from outside the royal circle. The Green Room at Buckingham, where the evidence was first presented, is now symbolically referred to within palace circles as the Reset Room. Prince Edward has resumed his public duties, but is expected to play a recurring behind-the-scenes role in future integrity reviews. Prince William, meanwhile, has remained publicly silent about the affair, but has reportedly held 2 internal roundtables with legal counsel and finance officers to review similar high-risk areas. No statement has been issued by King Charles regarding the matter. The scandal surrounding Queen Camilla's alleged embezzlement and the unauthorized construction of a private residence for her son will likely never be publicly confirmed by the royal household. However, its consequences are now embedded within the monarchy's operational protocols. Without headlines or formal accusations, a significant internal shift has taken place. One driven not by exposure, but by quiet enforcement. The message from within the palace is clear. Private loyalty will no longer override public accountability, even within the crown's own walls.